Welcome back, everyone. James here, J-Man Travels. Today I am in Porto, Portugal, flying back to Lisbon. My friend Aviator Dave and I, we took the train on the way up here, and on the way down we were looking at flight options, and while it was a little more expensive to take the flight, found something really cool. We found an ATR 72, and I've never been on this. Something I've learned this past couple years is that if you see something cool you want to get on, you better do it now while you have the chance. So here we are at the airport. It's only a 35-40 minute flight. It's pretty quick, but it'd be awesome to get a flight on the ATR 72. Just recently I did the Dash 8 with Alaska, and I really fell in love with turboprop, so I really wanted to check this one out. So it's been an amazing time here in Porto. Had some really amazing octopus, actually. It was the most tender octopus I've ever had in my life. Really good stuff. So I don't want to leave, but unfortunately it's time to head back because I do have to get back to the US here in a few days. So anyway, let's go ahead and see how top Air Portugal is, and let's see how the ATR 72 is. I think it's going to be a good flight. Let's go.
One thing that I was really shocked by was just how many people and how big this airport was. In 2019, it handled almost 13 million passengers. That's on par with Salt Lake City or San Diego in the US, so this was actually a pretty good sized airport. So this airport had plenty of shops and restaurants and things to do while we were waiting for the flight. There was no lounge, however, in Porto, so we just sat, we got ourselves a glass of wine, and waited for time to board. One of my favorite parts about boarding in Europe is you get these glass jet bridges. I absolutely love these. It's so cool to be able to look around and to see things on the ramp and to see your plane instead of these dark metal tubes we have in the US. Honestly, they need to go away. We need these glass jet bridges in the US. They're so fantastic, especially for aviation geeks like myself. Let's be honest, is there anything better than boarding with stairs? It's absolutely fantastic to be able to walk up to the side of the plane, get all those great pictures and all this great footage. I really love being up close and personal with the plane. It really helps you put a sense of size into perspective with just how big these aircraft are. Sometimes from the inside you look out and you can't really understand just how big these aircraft are. But when you're boarding from the outside, it's really nice to get this different perspective. Also, today's flight was on a 5.5-year-old bird, so relatively new. This aircraft started out its life with Azul Airlines in Brazil, and then it changed over to White. White is TOP's regional carrier in Portugal. As you can see, I had both my GoPro out and my phone out pretty much the whole way walking up to the plane. I just wanted to capture as much of this experience as possible. These turboprop aircraft are really cool, and they're a totally different experience from jet aircraft. In fact, turboprops are a lot more fuel efficient, but airlines in the US tend to lean away from them. People don't like the stigma of turboprops, but I personally don't mind it at all. I really like turboprops, and I think they're fun to fly on. TOP's ATR 72-600 aircraft come in a 2-2 configuration, so it's just like the smallest regional jet aircraft we have in the US. However, I find the legroom to be quite nice. There was 31 inches of pitch, and each seat is 17 inches wide. Also, these overhead bins, were huge. I really wish the CRJ aircraft could have these. CRJ 200, you can't fit anything up there except maybe your cell phone, but these you could fit full-size luggage in. I was really impressed with how wonderful the bins were on this plane. My seat was all the way at the front, all the way up at 3D. When I flew on the Dash 8, I got to sit in the front and the back, and from that experience, I figured out I prefer to be ahead of the engine. I like the view that way better, a little bit more than from the back. Plus, the windows tend to be a little bit cleaner up front, but as I found out on this flight, the windows were pretty dirty. As you can see, the seat had plenty of legroom. The tray table that folded down was quite a nice size, and it was a normal size tray table, not a mini tray table. So overall, this seat was pretty nice, especially considering it's supposed to do these shorter regional routes. I really liked this seat. It was fantastic. Since there was only about 25 people on the plane today, we got settled pretty quickly and started heading out for takeoff.
Cabin crew, take our seats for takeoff, please. Thank you.
After takeoff, I found a little secret button hidden in the seat. literally forever to figure that out. Luckily, my friend here figured it out. Otherwise, I have no idea how to recline this seat. It's the weirdest button I've ever seen.
No, seriously. It's weird. So what happens when you travel with your friends? They just stare at you over the top of the seat the entire time. Like that.
Because we're judging, that's why. We're just judging him.
Kids these days.
After messing around with the seat and poking some fun at each other, it was time for a snack service. In fact, I was shocked that we even got anything because this flight was so short, but luckily, they did come around with a few things.
Yeah, it looks like all we have is coffee, juice, water. I went just for some water. Because, you know, Europe, nobody does water in Europe, so. And I don't drink coffee. So, yeah, coffee, juice, water. These little guys, let's go ahead and see how these are. They look good. They gave me a few of them, which is nice, maybe because the flight's empty up here. So, yeah, let's see how these are.
Sorry, I forgot you do your stuff flying, so I was like,
This guy just keeps interrupting me the whole time.
sorry. I'm glad we have two different cells of the same. And different cells of doing it because it's pretty awkward. It was the same way of doing it.
Almonds. No chocolate almonds, yeah. They're pretty good. I like them. There's one in each pack, one big one. So, that's pretty good.
After a little snack, we kept talking and hanging out. You can tell we're both av geeks because we both took the windows. We didn't want to sit next to each other and be deprived of that window view. So we just hung out, we checked out the seat, we checked out the recline, which these seats actually had quite a good amount of recline. Overall, these seats were really fantastic, especially when you consider that this is a regional aircraft. The seat had plenty of legroom, it was super comfortable, the overhead bins had plenty of space. I mean, for a second you kind of forget you're in a regional aircraft.
Alright, there's one more thing I have to show you before we land. It's really funny.
Yep, that's a little iPod to remind you, it's time to store your electronics and get ready for landing. I just found that unique. One of the main reasons why we decided to sit on this side of the aircraft was the beautiful views of the city on approach. We really enjoyed seeing the beautiful bridge and the statue, as well as all the other buildings below it. This really was the most beautiful side to come in. In fact, when I flew in on Air France, I also took the same approach. That was just a lucky pick though. This was more deliberate. If you want to see the full takeoff and landing video, you can always check out my channel. I have all of them posted in there. Before we get to my final thoughts, if you've enjoyed this video so far, I would really appreciate you hitting the subscribe button and hitting the thumbs up. It really helps support my channel and helps me grow. Unfortunately, this short flight was coming to an end. I really enjoyed my time on this plane. I kind of wish I booked a longer flight, but you know, that just gives me a reason to come back and to fly it again. Maybe even see if I can find one on another airline and see how they compare. These turboprop aircraft, both the Dash 8 and this ATR, have been fantastic. What other turboprop airline should I try? Let me know down in the comments below. What's your favorite turboprop still out there? I'm really curious. When we landed back in Portugal, we did park over at the remote stand, which for most people might be a little annoying, but for me that meant more time next to the plane and being able to take a bus around the other planes. It was a really fun experience. I always love taking the bus around because it gets you up close and personal with the planes. The bus dropped us off back at the terminal, and of course the escalator was broken, so we carried our bags up the stairs. Luckily, because Porto was just a couple-day trip, we didn't have much luggage, but I can't imagine if you flew in with a bunch of stuff, lugging it up the stairs, but that's alright. We got up the stairs no problem, and we got into the terminal back in the departures hall.
that was it. That was ATR 72 with Top Air Portugal. Overall, it was a really nice flight. The crew was very nice. It's always nice to get water and a little snack even on those super short flights. And turboprop planes are always super fun. The ATR was actually pretty quiet. Overall, wonderful flight. Kind of makes me want to try top long haul and see how their service is and what kind of food they have. I think I was in extra legroom seating. I'll have to double check because I had more room on that flight than I had in Air France 777. It was really, really nice. Seat had nice padding. It had good lumbar support for my back. So overall, it was a wonderful, wonderful seat. So yeah, it was a really good airline, really fun. And I really want to try them long haul. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you guys can follow my travels and see where else I go. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.